Welcome to Ponchatoula Live, the show where we make it easy for you to connect with the people of Ponchatoula. I'm your host, Parker Layrisson, and today I've got a terrific guest. We've covered a lot of ground on this show over the years, from doctors and lawyers and educators and all kinds of jobs and occupations. And today is one of my most exciting days because we're going to hear about the heart of an American farm that's kicking butt right here in Ponchatoula. And I love that part of today's interview, but I also love who is presenting this view into farming. It's Jayme Graham, one of my favorite people. She's just always been one of these women in Ponchatoula that's uplifting and fun to talk to and meet. She and her sister come from a great family and they're just good people. So with no further ado, Jayme, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Why don't we kick things off and you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been farming lately, Parker, like really farming.
That's fun.
And we just opened a store about a year ago that people can come on farm, and it's at the entrance. Stop and
Very
grab.
cool. Well, what are your hours in the store there?
We are open Monday through Friday, 8 to 3, and 9 to 12 on Saturdays. But I got to warn you, Saturdays, sometimes it's standing room only. This is not.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, we're going to dig deep into your operation there and how you've grown it up to be a prosperous business, as a commercial farm and a retail store and all that. But why don't we just start by kind of going back in time with you and your story? Tell us what it was like for you growing up around here in Ponchatoula.
Well, everybody knew everybody. Before we really had turning lanes too. I mean, you could drive through the middle of town and know everybody driving. You could know who was working at Bonings, who was working at Hi-Ho, you just knew everybody. And now it's not like that anymore. You don't really know. You don't see that many folks on the road that you recognize anymore.
It's true. I really enjoyed my days working at Hi-Ho. I know you remember my brother Louie working after Bree and I did. And now I pull up, whether it be drive-through or go in. I don't know people sometimes, and I guess I need to come to expect that. Who were some people when you were young that really made an impact on you? Teachers, family, friends, just who were the people of Ponchatoula that helped make you who you are?
Well, I don't know if it was necessarily the people of Ponchatoula, but my grandpa played a huge role in it. He always said, if you're not going to do it right the first time, don't do it at all. And I've lived my life by that, believe it or not.
Great advice. Where did your grandpa live?
Off of Waysroll Road in Ponchatoula.
Okay, cool. Well, I've done almost 200 episodes of this show, and I asked some version of that question to just about everybody that comes through here. It almost always starts with family. It might be a grandparent, a parent, an older sibling. But that's where we pick up our values. So you were really lucky to have that man in your life. You make me smile when you mention Waysboro Road. I think of going fishing with who was like our pawpaw. We didn't have a pawpaw. My father's father died long before we got here, but Mr. Wink's Vineyard kind of adopted us there, some boys. He would take us fishing. He and Mr. AJ Barker. We would go take the little boat out in Waysboro. We had great times, and then my good buddy Chad Richard grew up out there too. I spent many nights in his house. Fond memories. Well, tell me about kind of how you got from there to here. What's your story? What are some things along the way that are worth mentioning?
Well, before I went to Tulane, I went to culinary school because I was still am extremely passionate about food and just nutrition and know where my food comes from. And that's where I really learned a lot about our food system here in the United States. Believe it or not, was in culinary school. And I did an apprenticeship with a French chef, and he barely spoke any English. And he was very dead set and just really, he would walk through the kitchen with wooden clocks like, oh, Jayme. And I was a nervous wreck. Here I was 18, 19. I had no idea what he was saying. Yeah. But I learned a lot about food and like real food there. We cooked and made every single thing. There was no like, let's take this bag out of the freezer and, defrost it and put it on the steam table and throw it on the plate. This was like legit real food. Everything was, we were peeling potatoes and I just learned a lot about food there.
And that's so neat. Well, how did you make the jump from culinary school to academia at Tulane?
Well, I decided that I wanted to be a mom one day, and you can't really be a chef and have kids. Like, especially as a woman, it's hard. It's tough.
Those
And
hours.
I decided to change courses a little bit and went into more business administration, and that's where I ended up.
Well, what a perfect background for what you're doing now, because you know about food, you know about business, and Lord knows you got to be great at business to make it work as a farmer these days with the margins that sometimes exist. So, tell us, if you would, how did that background contribute to what you're doing now? What did you learn that's serving you well?
As far as business goes and what served me well, you can't necessarily. I mean, you want a great quality product, and the cost of that, there's no. Obviously, you can't put a price tag on it that would. What are the words I'm trying to say? Like, I might think it's worth $1 million, but to you, it's only worth $5. But there's got to be that happy medium where.
Yeah, it's kind of what will the market bear, right?
Exactly.
And is the juice worth the squeeze, so to speak, and that is worth your time to do it if all we'll pay is this. I think you see that a lot in food. Brandy and I, like you, we like French cuisine. You can tell looking at me, I love to eat. She's different, but believe it or not, she can eat me under the table. But when we travel, we go to these fancy restaurants, and sometimes the prices are exorbitant. And what that means is the market for people who will pay that is this. And you kind of have to figure out, like, how many, beef Wellingtons can I sell if only 5 people in town want to pay what it costs to make beef Wellington.
And it's really hard to find labor now, especially in a restaurant, a nice restaurant, and balancing that cost, what it costs on the plate when it gets to your customer.
Yeah. Well, I think I read, and I don't know if it's Nobu or one of the best restaurants in the world in Scandinavia. I think it was rated the single best restaurant in the world in recent years. It closed its doors. I mean, we see this. People watch the show The Bear. Similar thing happened there, where the fictional best restaurant in the world closes the doors. It's a really tough industry to make it in. Well, I know from the farming end, your husband's a 3rd generation farmer, I believe. This is your first rodeo. How has that come to be? I mean, with someone like him who has all this family knowledge, you bring over these strong family values from your grandpa and others, but less knowledge of what to do. Like, how has this come to be, and why is it thriving?
Well, it's a 3rd generation cattle farm, and he learned a lot from his grandpa and his dad. And, when you're a farmer here, especially where we are, there's not many livestock veterinarians. You have to be everything, not just the farmer. You have to be the veterinarian. You're the caregiver. You're everything to that animal. Mm-hmm. So we learn a lot. We watch a lot of YouTube videos. We read a lot of books, and we just we do what's got to get done.
That's really cool. So I'll tell you a quick story. We mentioned part of it off air. So not many people know that for virtually the entirety of my dad's career as sheriff, he had a cattle farm on the side. And for most of our life, it was in Lavanja. His first farm was out in Killian, and that's where we were when I was born. But he would have, with a low end, 25 head of cattle, 50 maybe on average, and maybe 75 at its heyday. But he has 4 sons, as you know. I'm the second of 4 boys. And he was always hoping to get some labor out of us. You mentioned how hard it is to get labor. And so I remember well when I was a kid, I think Bree and I were teenagers, and Lily was probably, 12 or something like that. And Dad decided the way he was going to finally get us to help was by giving us a calf each. And he thought he could teach us the process. And he's like, all right, boys, you're going to get your calf. You're going to raise your calf. We're going to take it to market. All the stuff you and your husband know so well. And so we did that, and we basically did little to nothing. This much work the first time on the farm, and it got smaller and smaller to the point where we don't show up. And then, time to go to slaughter. Thankfully, prices were good that year. And Bree took his calf money, and Dad expected him to, go and buy some mamas and expand the. But instead of reinvesting it in the farm, Bree bought a rifle with a scope. I think I bought some equipment for my car. Louis brought a Nintendo or something. Nobody, went stuck with farming.
Like a wrestling headband, a WWE.
Yeah, he and Zach Lowry and Ben Richardson were doing WWF wrestling. But the takeaway for me is it's hard work. And like you're saying, you have to do all this stuff. Now we get called out in the middle of the night because his fence would break. You have to get his cows back in. When the vet's not available, you got to be the vet. It's tough living.
It is. Like, cattle work days are no joke. Like, you literally have to get them from pasture into the work barn, and then you have to sort them out. And if you're a bull calf, it's not a so lucky day for you.
Well, tell me this: what would surprise people to learn about that? I'm sure there's a lot of things. Everybody knows you're going to be dirty, smelly, tired at the end of that day. That part's to be expected. But what have been things that surprised you as you've learned about this industry?
It's the love that you put into it. It's in your heart and your soul. Like, you give everything to it, and that's your life.
Well, what motivates you? I mean, to bring that love and that dedication day after day. Kind of what gets those juices flowing?
Producing a healthy herd and healthy animals, and seeing the look on people's faces when they come here to the farm and they see all these cows in the field, and to know that you had a hand in that. You had a hand in raising one of God's creatures, and you took care of it the best that you could.
That's cool. I love the way you put that. It's really poetic. You take something that's tough and smelly and whatnot, and you can make poetry out of it. I want to share a comment here we received from Miss Faye Ivaniski. Hey, Miss Faye. I hope you're doing well. And I'll read this to you, Jayme, because we have some audio listeners that don't get to see the video. But it says, Jayme, good to see you. You're looking great. And she is so proud of everything that you're doing. Jayme, my question to you is, how does it make you feel when a woman of the quality of Miss Faye tells you something like that? What's that make you feel like?
It feels awesome because Miss Faye is awesome. If you've never met Mama Faye, or Mimi, like, if you've never met her, then you're missing out big time.
I agree. She's the best. I used to love seeing her in the St. Joe carpool line. Her boys, her grandchild goes to high school now, so I don't get to see her as often. But she's one of the special ladies of Ponchatoula.
Oh, she is. She decorated a conditioner bottle and shampoo and bottle with stickers on it for Amy because she hated to wash her hair when she was little. Ever since then, she loves it. I mean, she's 15 now, but she was, I think, 3 or 4 at the time.
Yeah. Now, is that CJ I see behind you? If he wants to poke his head in and join us, he's welcome. This is a family affair.
I'm gonna have to catch it for you, Parker.
Yeah,
I figured it'd be nice
this
to
is
do
great.
Before so people can kind of get a look and see.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, please do. So we're going to get a view here, folks. If you're just joining us, we're with Jayme Graham, and she's of course with Bar 3G Farms, and that's her husband CJ behind her, I think. CJ, welcome to the show. If you can hear us.
He's a little camera shy, Parker.
Don't feel bad. I told her, I'm an easy interview. I don't ask about ex-girlfriends or bad days at work or the kids acting up. We all have that in our life, but we don't go there here. CJ, you are a third-generation farmer. What's it mean to you to keep this family legacy alive through this business?
Oh, it means everything. It means everything. We just hope that we can continue to a 4th generation.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. I can't imagine the pride you must take in that. Y'all have a beautiful place too. I love driving by. Long before I even knew whose farm that was, I just admired it. It's so much, frankly, it's so much better looking than our family farm, which has got all this patchwork, fencing.
You have a nice beach at your farm now.
Well, we do sometimes, every time it rains big, the mud comes in. So it depends on how updated Dad is with. He used to be great with the back, he was a tractor out there, clear it the next day, but he's 84 now. So he's still kicking butt and outworking me, but he's, the beach isn't always ready like usual. But, so CJ, we're talking here about the farm business. You two seem to me to be such a great pair in that you married this amazing woman who is Tulane smart and French chef refined, but not afraid to get her nails dirty and dig in and go, play with the pigs or whatever's needed.
That's my baby.
What makes y'all a good pair? Like, how do y'all divide the work up? Who does what, and what's it like?
Well,
she's the brains. I'm just the labor.
You're smart enough to say that. Let me tell you, she's not the only brains.
I do a lot of the labor. but he likes to use a tractor, and he doesn't let me use his tractors. So,
well, that's probably smart. And let me say this, CJ. Look, never let my daddy use your tractor. He is notorious. You know, he has run ours into the bottom of the pond before. And boy, he is not the guy you lend equipment to, like I promised you. So tell me about, the offerings you guys have. As I understand it, you've kind of expanded from just, raising cattle to bring to the market, which the little Layrisson farm did. Obviously, you have this store here. There's farmers markets involved. Tell me about all the stuff y'all are doing and how our watchers and our viewers and listeners can get involved and buy from you.
Sure. I mean, our farm is here at the entrance of our farm when you soon as you come down our driveway, and we have some freezers set up, and let's flip it. Let's see. And
tell me that, as I understand it, the entrance to your farm is not on Highway 22. It's off the road on the side, right?
It's actually off of CC Road.
CC Road, right. Okay.
We do have a cow pasture that has highway frontage where you can see them from Highway 22. But you would turn onto CC Road, and we're the third driveway on the left. And it's a long gravel driveway. You'll see the big red shop and horses out front and bulls. And you'll see a little blue building, and that's our farm store.
Okay. And I see behind you beef, milk. What all you got in there?
Oh, okay. Well, here, let's see if I can do it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, cool.
Don't pay attention to my bright blue tops on my freezer, okay? These are actually ice cream freezers, and my husband told me if I wanted to be a farmer, farmers are broke. So he got these on a hot deal for me, and I had to cover them with brown paper because they were ice cream dancing around. I don't know if you can see it. So I haven't quite figured out the tops, but these are our steaks.
That's great.
This is a ribeye.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So, yeah, we have our different cuts of steaks and pork, and we offer pretty much anything and everything in the beef and pork cut that you would normally see in a supermarket.
And
I'm not sure how well the camera's coming over, but.
So tell me about specifically the beef and the pigs, because you guys have Heritage Berkshire pigs. You've got Beefmasters cattle. What does that mean to the novice that doesn't understand farming and culinary arts and all the stuff that you know?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I am so glad you asked me that question, because the Berkshire pork, the Berkshire pigs, those are, I would never call them hogs. Please don't ever call them that, even though by weight definition they are considered hogs. Those are my babies, okay? You've never had a Berkshire pork chop or any cut of even really probably any farm-raised heritage breed pork. It tastes like beef. It is completely different. It's nowhere near the little thin, measly pork chop in a supermarket. This actually has flavor to it. You can eat one of our pork chops like a ribeye. It's delicious. The fat quality is completely different. Most people will trim the fat off. Here, you find that people actually, they want to find the pork chop with the most fat because they like fat. Yeah. Yes. But I love my Berkshires. They have so much personality. And
That's
have you seen Merle yet?
What's that?
Merlin James, my baby pig.
No way. I don't know. I know nothing. I'm coming in ignorance. So tell me about that.
Okay, so piglets are really super hard to get to raise them if they're not with their mama. If you have any runts of the litter, then they're super hard. The humidity has to be right. The temperature has to be right. They have to be fed constantly. So the first go round was my experience with piglets. I had 3 runts, and no, I'm lying to you. I had 1, and I lost him, and I cried for weeks. Cried.
Oh,
well, a little bit later on, I ended up with 3 runts. I had Waylon, Cash, and Merle.
I'm loving the country music themes here. This is great. You had me at Merle Haggard.
Yes, well, Cash and Merle were like best friends. But anyway, I'm down to 1, Merle. He's a little over a year old, and Merlin James is my baby, but he's running with the mama pigs out there with the cows.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
But if you ever come to visit him, he's got a special call. My husband's about to choke me. You have to say, "Hey, Merle." Well, no, you got to say, "Merlin, is you so excited, Merle?" And he gets all excited. His little feet like dancing. I don't know how to explain it, but you got.
Do you have a video of that on your Facebook page or Instagram? We got to check that out, folks.
Say, "Let me see one." Merle? And he comes running across the field no matter where.
That's just
so funny.
Let me see here, folks. What I'm going to try to do is pull up our Facebook page. There we go. So I would encourage folks to check this out. I'm just getting to know it myself. But as you can see, there's tons of information, pictures of the animals. I see here you have a farmer's market event coming up in April. Can you tell us about that, Jayme?
Well, that is what we do. We welcome people to the farm anytime, really, but we decided to have other local vendors set up so other people in our community can meet those other local vendors without them having to go to a huge farmer's market, whereas, they might not all the traffic to their booth or whatnot, but here it stays pretty. We have about 30 vendors lined up, and everybody.
So give me some examples. Who would be vendors? Who's coming to the farm to sell with you?
Well, Sudsy Sisters is one. She was 4 years old when she started her little soap business. She's 6 now.
Wow.
It's cool, super cool. We have a lady that will have like plant starts with succulents. We have a lot of different soap makers. There's a pottery bowl in there. A lady that makes like homemade pottery, but it's gorgeous.
Well, you got to get, just to on this comment on the last two, you mentioned succulents and pottery. My mom has a broken pottery garden behind her house for succulents. So it's, probably hundreds of succulents with this base and all these pots that she's broken over the years. So she would be in heaven just with, do the first three things you mentioned. Sounds like you have a lot of cool stuff.
We do, and we have a local honey guy, Hollycomb Honey, Mr. J. He's excellent. Everybody loves his honey. So we have a lot of good vendors that they want to show their support. So
that's great. And so it looks like from this, it's April 18th. There's an event on your Facebook page here where people can get more info. And I would encourage anybody listening or watching this before April 18th of 2026 to check that out. What have been some things you've learned through this process, Jayme? Learned about yourself, learned about farming, learned about anything. What lessons do you have to share?
I've never been a person to give up, and this industry could make you want to give up, but you just keep pushing through it. And it's a passion. You have to love it.
Yeah.
You have to truly love it. And the hardest part really is the red tape surrounding everything. Like now, before I couldn't sell you a pack of ground beef legally, but now I can because I went through the process of having my label created with the state and using a state processing facility and all that good stuff.
Well, I remember in a prior interview, John Boning was telling us about their relationship with the Sanagra Dairy and all the problems that they, used to have. And I guess the laws are getting better for you guys, but yeah, it sounds like a lot of problems.
It is
bureaucracy keeping you from going farm to table.
I don't mean to cut you off, but Kim Coates has been excellent.
That's great.
With helping Miles, with helping myself, and just directions to go into, who to ask for questions. And she has been out here several times.
That's great.
And she is, and she'll say, "Hey, how's everything going? Do you have any questions? I know it can be confusing, but let me let you know what's been going on." Like
Kim and I went to school together growing up. Her sister was one of the sweetest girls in our class. What are some things? So when you think about the farm, let's talk about the next you, if you will. Say there's a young woman out there. I don't know that there's anybody who's come back from French culinary training or Tulane Business School, but with some version of you, some Spitfire who's got, the property, maybe married the right farmer like you did, whatever.
That's what I tell him. I tell my husband. I told him that if you asked me that question, I was going to say that I just married a real cowboy. That's all.
That's it. It's like a Beth Dutton thing. Just find your rip and roll with it, right? But that's great advice. So that's no more important choice anybody makes in life other than perhaps giving your life to Christ. It's finding your mate, right? I mean, the best decision I ever made was to marry Brandy. She may have a different opinion of how that went down, but that's good advice. But what other advice do you have for somebody young who's considering going into farming? They just don't know. What are some things you look back and love to share?
Just start. Just do something. Get into agriculture. I know there's not a lot around us anymore, but you can start anywhere, really. And I remember my father-in-law, I've been asking, that's how it all started here with the cuts of beef and pork. I said, why don't you let me do that? Oh, nobody's going to want to buy that. So, but he walks out of Grandma's house on a Saturday when they're standing room only in here, and he's amazed that it's come this far. That I was able to, he gave me one steer to start with, and then I ended up just turning it into just hit the ground running and haven't looked back yet.
The word's gotten out. Well, look, I'm very happy for you and your success because I meant everything I said in the intro. You've always been one of my favorite people. You're such a sweetheart. You're smart and fun to talk to, and it's just always a pleasure. I promise I'd let you get out of here soon because I know with a family and a farm you're busy. But before we go, is there anything else on your heart, on your mind, anything at all you'd love to share with our viewers and our listeners?
Really, just know where your food comes from. Support local agriculture. Anybody really in your community.
Amen.
Always try to leave the world or somebody better than when you found them.
Very well said. Very good advice. Jayme, you lived up to the hype. Thank you for sharing your time, your farm, your life with us. To our viewers, oh, please go for it.
I just want to know if I'm going to be invited back. I hear it's like really tough to get like a second show.
Absolutely. But only if Merle comes with you next time.
Look, he used to ride in my car, Parker. He would ride in my car because I would take him home with me. I couldn't leave my baby here, So he would sit in a little box, and as long as he can see out the window, he was just fine, okay? CJ's like, Jayme, he's a pig. I'm like, no, he's not. He's just my baby. And then he got too big to fit in the Amazon
You need a reality show, The Klebears and Shelby Stanga and all the famous reality shows of Ponchatoula got nothing on you. I think it's time. Mike Massey's doing shows on farmers now. I'm real proud of my friend for that. He needs to come down to you, and I tune in every Wednesday night to watch you guys in action.
Oh, that would be awesome. Send them over here.
Well, thank you to you. Thank you to CJ. Thank you to our listeners. I love you all. And yes, you have a standing invite to come back anytime you want, as long as you bring Merle. Y'all have a good one.
I'm bringing him. I'm going to get him to sit on the floor.
We'll be back next time, same place next week. Y'all take care. Thank you all.